Global besties, welcome to 1,000 Miles Pod. You belong here. That felt so good, guys. Global besties, welcome back to 1,000 Miles Pod. This is episode 9, and we are so stoked that you are here. Today, we're going to be talking about long distance friendships, which is very fitting because today we're recording from 8,400 miles apart again, 13,500 kilometers, which is crazy. It sounds even further, even though it's the same distance. So catch us up. Nikki, where are you today?
I am still in Albania. I'm still in the same town. I'm moving around, but I'm staying here.
Ty, what about you?
I am in Guernsey. Let it be known, guys, I actually have left the island a couple of times since we've started recording. Just haven't recorded off the island. But I'm here in our home island, Guernsey. Maddie?
And I am in Kauai still. We're going to be here for about the next 8 weeks before our next big travel. We're going to be spending some time with family. So I'm definitely feeling the itch to travel again. It's been at least 3 weeks, but I am excited to be here this fall and just get into routine here. So super excited. Let's do a catch up because in real life, we have all been super busy over the last couple weeks since our last recording. And so I feel like I don't even know what's going on with you guys. So Nikki, catch us up on Albania, all the things. Where are you staying? What are you doing? Tell me about the water issue. I have questions.
Yeah. Albania has been incredibly interesting for me. I thought it was going to be a little bit more like easy breezy digital nomad community-ish. Like I could find something to make some friends, and I did intentionally like book myself a little bit away from like where I know the communities are and all of that stuff. And to be honest, until today I have not had a conversation with somebody whose native language is English face to face. Like I've done loads of talking over the phone, but I'm perfectly in this like super local kind of like older generation neighborhood, and from what I've experienced, anybody over the age of like 45 or 50 here don't speak English, and I clearly don't speak Albanian, and that is just a hurdle that we're gapping. And it's been interesting. But I did talk to a very drunk man from London today, which was interesting. He like thought I was taking a video of him. I was like vlogging myself. And he like just came running out from under this beach umbrella and was like, whoa, like through the sunset. And I was like, hello? And he's like, you want to take a video of me? I was like, no.
No, sir, I do not know who you are.
He like shook my hand 4 times and then like kept saying, I'm really drunk. And I'm like, okay, I'll talk to you later, bye. But yeah, I've just been kind of like really in my little quiet zone. I did have a fiasco with the water. I apparently don't read signs that are clearly written in English. And there's a sign here in my little apartment that says, don't drink the water. It probably will make your stomach upset. Whatever the wording is, it seemed like optional. And not that I drank it, I did go and like buy bottled water, but I was still cooking with it because I was like, you can boil water and it's fine.
Yeah.
It was not fine. I thought it was like, because I was eating a ton of like pasta sauce and my stomach doesn't like tomatoes sometimes. And I was like, oh no, like tomatoes. And then I didn't eat pasta sauce one day and my stomach still was like, no ma'am. And I was like, let me try not cooking my pasta in tap water. Lo and behold, my life is fine now.
And so are your bowels.
Yeah, so are my bowels.
Good.
That's wild.
Urgent bathroom adventures.
Well, I mean, hard lesson, but I'm pleased you've learned it. So if any of our global besties are listening and you're going to Albania, take this as a lesson learned. Do not drink the tap water.
Don't brush your teeth with it. Don't cook with it. Don't drink it. Don't put it anywhere near the inside of your body. Just don't do it. And then I've been driving a manual car here, and that has been the biggest stressor of my entire fucking life.
Yeah, so in the US, you guys learn in automatics, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, right.
Patrick learned on manual. So that was kind of his first. Well, he actually learned on a tractor, but he learned how to drive a street vehicle via manual.
Go Pat. DJ 1 p.m.
Yeah,
coming through with the manual.
Yeah.
That's a fun fact. Where was that fun fact? Pat should be telling people, like, I learned to drive a manual vehicle, but it was a tractor first.
Right,
Yeah,
when he is on the pod, I'm going to be
and-
grilling him about this.
Yeah, tractors and like lawnmowers. He was like in charge of that kind of stuff when he was a kid. So
That's insane.
yeah.
I did not learn to drive a manual vehicle until I was like 28 or 29 years old.
Yeah, in the UK, it's kind of standard. Like, you would generally learn in a manual unless you opted for automatic. But then obviously your options for like hire cars and stuff like that is limited. So most people drive manuals.
Yeah, my mom always said, like, oh, I'm going to make sure you know how to like drive both because I never want you to get in a car and like not be able to drive it. She was like, I just want you to always be able to drive any vehicle. And I was like, okay. And then that never happened because we didn't have a manual vehicle for her to teach us on. And so my cousin had a manual vehicle, and my aunt was like, I'll teach you, a couple years ago. And so I like literally made a whole YouTube video. I went out and like did the whole thing, learned, and then I was door dashing at the time. So I forced myself to door dash and drive a manual vehicle for like a week. And then I was like, okay, I'm over it. I think I got it. And I never drove another one again until I got to Albania.
Oh my gosh.
Well, at least you had
And
that prior experience.
And let me tell you, it saved me hundreds of dollars. And Albanians are the nicest people until you put them behind the wheel of a car. Then it is absolute chaos. There are no rules on the road. Nobody cares about anybody else. Also, they walk down the middle of the highways. Like, I'm just driving in the middle of the night and there's people walking down the highway and I'm going like 90 kilometers an hour. Like, it is crazy. And then you just like merge into this like 110 kilometer an hour traffic from a dead stop. From a dead stop, like it's a stop sign on the side of the highway, and you're just like, okay, get on it.
Mad.
And so I'm driving the manual car, like, blah.
That is crazy.
Full panic. I
Yeah,
have been absolutely losing my mind.
That's crazy. Yeah, Patrick, he's our manual driver when we were abroad. I have technically learned, Patrick's youngest brother, Cameron, when Pat and I started dating, Cam was like 13. So somewhere in those first like couple years of dating, they were teaching Cam how to drive and manual. And they were like, well, perfect. We'll teach Cam and Maddie at the same time. And it was really scary because we went out at night. I don't know why we did that, but we went out at night on country roads in Illinois where there's lots of deer that will come and jump in front of your car. And lo and behold, I'm driving down a straightaway. I mean, I guess just a road. I'm thinking about a racetrack. A straightaway. And this deer jumps out, and I literally just start screaming, clutch your brake, clutch your brake, clutch your brake. And by the time we like approached the deer was already gone, but I was like still like, I don't know.
Oh.
I've not been behind the wheel of a manual since.
Maddie, what have you been up to recently? Guys, I promise we are going to get onto the actual episode topic. However, we are long distance friends, and this is all part of maintaining a long distance friendship, right? You guys are also our long distance global besties, so we got to catch you up. Maddie, take it away. What have you been up to?
Oh, what have I been up to? We've been holding down the farm. My parents returned today. The farmer Kevin returns, which is good because we have been in charge of the farm for the last 3 weeks, and so
I did not know that.
Yes, in between all of the work tasks for Travel Mentors and 1,000 Miles Pod, we've been like running around and cutting down coconuts and delivering fruit and watering like plants and just doing all this stuff. So it'll be good to have Farmer Kevin home. Yeah, so that'll be good. We've been doing that. I've been focusing on my health a little bit. I was diagnosed as anemic, which is super interesting. This is just a PSA out there for all the global besties. Super common like in female teenagers, especially athletes, to be anemic. So I struggled with anemia a little bit in high school. But really that's not been on the radar since. I had some blood work done, and I guess your iron levels are supposed to be at 50 and mine were at 42, but it's interesting is my physician was like, well, technically you're not below the threshold where it would like show up red on like a report, but you can start having symptoms of anemia if you're anywhere below 50. So she was like, you technically don't meet like the diagnostic criteria for anemia, but I'm like having all the same symptoms and I'm 8 points below. So she was like, so yeah, we're going to be putting you in iron. So that was really interesting and informative. So I started that last week, and I think I can notice a difference already. Maybe it's just placebo, but I do feel like that in conjunction with like a couple other supplements she put me on, I feel like some of the brain fog is gone. So
Good.
yeah, so that's been nice. I do feel like I've been like cranking and working and having some really productive days lately, which is nice.
And farming.
So just been, yes, and farming. So I've been really just focusing on health, getting into a routine. As much as we wanted to travel in September and October, we really were like, man, we just came off of a crazy summer of travel, plus adding in the unexpected concussion. Like, we could use 8 weeks of just staying put and getting into a routine, focusing on our health and all of that. So nothing too exciting over here, but it's been good.
Good.
And you can drink the tap water.
But yeah, funny about that, I swear every single place I go, even in the US, I Google, can you drink the tap water? I don't know why. Like, we were in Winter Park, Colorado a few weeks ago when we recorded one of the episodes, and I was like, can you drink the tap water? And it was like, yes, obviously, it's like the best tap water.
It's better safe
No,
than
literally
sorry.
though. Yeah. What's crazy is I've been to Mexico and they tell you like don't even brush your teeth with the water there. And I
Yeah.
have not, like, I've never drank the water, but without even thinking about it, like, I've brushed my teeth, like, and I've never had any issues in Mexico ever. Like, I've got a pretty strong stomach. And then I get here and I'm like, okay, I don't know what's happening in Albania, but don't mess with the water.
I mean,
Patrick and
I
I
shat
both-
myself in the Philippines, so
Yeah.
just watch that
Don't
when you
tell
go to
me
the
that.
Philippines, Nikki.
I'm so scared.
Patrick and I both got parasites from brushing our teeth with water in Honduras, so we have had that rite of passage as well. Which brings us to Ty. Can you just update us? I feel like that was a great statement, but update us. You've been to France since the last time that we talked.
Guys.
You wore the most amazing dress to that wedding. I was obsessed with that dress. Tell us all about it.
Right, there's been a fiasco. The dress, stunning. Listen, it was the type of dress that you don't need to wear a bra with. It like just holds everything well. This dumbass decided, do you know what? I'm just going to tape my tits because when I'm on the dance floor, I don't want them to be fucking flying around everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
I have injuries. And I'm going to show you.
Injuries.
Yeah, so Global Besties, if you're watching on YouTube, then you are going to see the injuries. If you're listening, I'll try to describe them. Ready? Okay, I've got like something on them, so they look a bit crazy, but
Tyler.
I know. So
From the tape.
for the audio listeners, I have skin removed from my chest. And now listen, this could be user error, I don't know. But this happened when the tape was on my body.
gosh.
I think the sheer weight of the tit just like shredded my skin. So like you're meant to do like a patch test beforehand, which I did. It's not allergic reaction. It's literally just like peeled the skin off of my chest.
Like you yanked them
Oh
up and then
my
danced
gosh.
around and it ripped your skin off.
Yeah, so the tape didn't come off. I think it was just like pulling at the skin. So like, yeah. So your girl's going through it. I am trying to heal my chest as well as I can without it scarring. So I'll keep you guys updated with that.
Okay, I'll just also describe this again for people who aren't watching on YouTube. When Tyler pulled the neck of her t-shirt down, I'm like doing it. When she pulled the neck of her t-shirt down, her whole like upper chest, like below her collarbones, looks like she's been burned.
It looks like I've been in a bear attack.
Yeah,
But
it looks
unfortunately,
like
I don't have a cool
total-
story like that, so.
Total carnage.
Yeah.
Dance floor carnage.
I know.
Did
but
you
the wedding,
feel it at all while it was happening?
it fucking hurt. I was like, and then to get the tape off, there was me after a few like bevies. It was a free bar. What can I say? I was leaning over the sink of this Airbnb with their olive oil, rubbing oil all over my tits to get this tape off. Oh, what a scene. But The wedding was lovely. But
Ben wasn't even there for that.
He wasn't even there. He didn't get to see, unfortunately. I have another story though, and this one's like more pressing. I have been holding this one on to tell you guys on the podcast.
Bring it.
Okay, so Global Besties, I don't know when you're going to be listening to this. I need to like figure out when we're going to be posting these. However, right now, at the time of recording, it's September. Sabrina Carpenter released her new album. I was just like on delivery, loving it sick. She has a song called House Tour, which is like so fun. So Ben and I put up like this fuck ass post of us showing our house, right?
No.
Did you sell your house because of that Instagram post? I have tears in my eyes.
Stop. Did you?
Yeah, Sabrina Carpenter helped us sell our house.
Yes. What?
So let me set the scene. I actually sent you guys a voice note and I deleted it quickly because I was like, no, I must tell them on the podcast. So our house went on the market. I think it was like a Wednesday. And then on the Monday, we posted this video of us, like this little house tour video with Sabrina Carpenter singing in the background. We were like fucking around. It was so fun.
The video is iconic, by the way.
It is
iconic.
Yeah, that was Monday, and on Tuesday we had sold the house. I say sold the house. We had an offer, and we accepted said offer.
Tyler, congratulations!
Thanks.
Wow, congrats!
That is unbelievable.
Did they say they found it from the Instagram post?
Yeah, so the guy I actually used to work with him, and he messaged me like, "Hey, I saw you posted your house on Instagram. The video was really funny. Can you give me some more details?" So I gave him the details of the house and whatnot, and like that evening he came around to view it and put an offer in. We negotiated, and it's under offer.
Wow,
that is
I had literal chills.
Yeah, so the house was on the market for 6 days.
Okay.
That is crazy.
I literally am still wiping tears from my eyes. I'm so excited for you guys. We just sold our house in July and it was on the market for 7 months and we got one offer. So I like feel this in my bones, how freaking excited I am for you guys that it's just done. That's incredible.
Well, I'm hoping like, by the time this goes out, we should have moved out. But I mean, I'm trying not to jinx anything. Obviously, all these things can change before you go to court and whatnot, but I'm feeling really positive about it. They're actually just chatting to us about buying some of our furniture, which is great.
Wow.
So we're going to sort of speak to them about that. And yeah, it's happening, guys.
Oh,
that is
my
so freaking
God.
cool. Okay, I just have to ask, when you started Infrequent Flyers, did you ever think, someday we shall sell our home via this platform?
Never. And in my head, I'm like, this one reel has made us a lot of money.
Yeah, worth it.
Put it in
It's
the
all worth it.
portfolio. Yeah, put it in the portfolio. You can sell high-ticket items.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
actually, funny you say that because we've had a couple of estate agents like, hey, like this was so fun. Like we'd love to do something like this, or like if you guys are interested to like help us market houses. I was like, what is going on?
Tyler,
Love it.
I must say, like the timing of the song House Tour coming out was just impeccable. So thank you, Sabrina Carpenter.
We gotta get this to her somehow. If anyone, Global Besties, if anyone listening knows, anyone in Sabrina Carpenter's camp, send them this because this is actually unbelievable.
Unbelievable. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Also, so freaking cool that you guys like could do that for some real estate agents. That would be so cool.
I know, it'd be really fun, right?
Yeah.
And also, like, it's so cool because you guys are intentionally selling your house to, like, step into different things. And, like, you didn't know how long it was going to take. And it's, like, it's happening. It's literally happening so fast.
I know. It's wild.
That's
That's
exciting.
amazing.
So that's my updates, guys.
So happy for you. So life's about to be crazy for you. You're about to be packing up your house and moving. Do you want to talk about where you're moving to and kind of what the whole situation is?
Yeah, so we actually have a week off work at the start of October. We were talking about going somewhere or, doing something. I think, to be honest, this pains me to say because we always take every opportunity we can to go away. But I think we're going to have to use that week to really, like, just pack our life up into boxes, sell what we
Yeah.
can. So my parents have gone traveling for 3 months, and we're going to move into their house for now. And then they come back for Christmas, and then they go away for another 3 months. So we're going to stay with them. And then I haven't said this on the podcast yet, but my sabbatical's been moved up now to May. So when they come back from their travels, Ben and I go off on ours. So that's very exciting. But the whole reason why we're selling the house is because we are going to be buying a smaller, well, my dad's a builder. He is going to be building, but we are going to be buying this new place, which is smaller. And it just means we'll have less outgoings. We'll be able to travel more or even potentially rent it out in the future. So yeah, this is, I feel like this is a really pivotal time in our lives. Like things are changing, which is so excited. And I'm so glad that you guys are here to join us on this journey.
It's one of those like obvious like chapter changes that are happening. And it's like so crazy to really just be like, oh, I'm literally living it right now. Like we're turning the last pages and like stepping into the next thing. And oh, it's so exciting. I'm so excited for you guys. It's amazing.
It is amazing. And honestly,
guys.
I mean, Global Besties, this is literally part of a major part of why we wanted to start this podcast is because all three of us are just literally figuring out these new chapters of our lives. And some of the elements look similar between the three of us and some are completely different. And, kind of going to the topic of today, which is kind of funny that we're starting with this big catch up, which we haven't really done in an episode yet. But it's fun starting with this catch up because the dream today was like, let's just talk about like the elephant in the room of adult friendships and like why that's so hard. And like, I feel like we're kind of embodying, hey, this is what it takes. It takes getting on a Zoom call. It takes celebrating each other's wins. It takes like being dialed in. It takes so much intentionality. And it's such a privilege to get to walk through these joys. And I know we also walk through the lows with one another, but it is so rewarding to invest in friendships because you get to just celebrate with people and love people. And it's amazing.
Yeah. And I also want to like make it very clear, you guys, we talk way more than just this podcast. So like some of the things that we each just told you, we have already had conversations about, but like you don't necessarily have to get on a Zoom call if you don't want to. We send so many voice memos.
I woke up to 63 this morning.
Yeah.
In our defense, at the time of recording, our first episode goes live tomorrow. So we've been working a lot behind the scenes. But no, you're so right. Like you don't have to jump on a Zoom call. Like I said before, I voice noted you guys this news about the house and I quickly deleted it because I knew that I kind of wanted to see your reactions and I knew that you guys would be so excited for us. So yeah, sometimes all it takes is a voice note to each other or like a message. And, like maintaining friendships, especially long distance friendships, can be tough. And I am the type of person, I don't know if it's my ADHD or what, but I kind of out of sight, out of mind, and it's not because I don't love people, because I absolutely do, but sometimes I just get lost in the source of life, and next thing you know, it's kind of like 6 months since I've spoken to somebody that I love, like one person in particular, and it does take real effort to maintain these friendships.
So this is a timely episode because I'm calling myself out. Our sweet friend, Hannah Hughes, Adventures with Hannah, who, Nikki, we just traveled through Croatia with her, and Tyler, you know Hannah, but she has been texting me, and I literally, with like podcast launch week and everything, yesterday I worked from 7:30 a.m. to 9 p.m., and it's been like that for the last like week, and like farm stuff and everything. I literally had to put in my calendar today in all caps, text Hannah back. So shout out Hannah. I'm sure you're going to be listening to this.
We love you, Hannah.
Yeah, we love you. I'm going, she literally in her voice memo yesterday, I haven't even listened to it yet. I just saw like the preview come up and the first line was literally like, I'm just going to keep voice memoing you until you respond.
I love that though, because she'll know that it's not an intentional thing. You're just a busy person. Like a lot of my friends, like even at home, they know that I might not reply to messages because I'll read it, I'll forget about it, I'm distracted, I'm doing other things. But if they pick up the phone and phone me, I will be there in an instant. Like, it's just finding out who your friends are and how they communicate best and just giving them grace because we're all adults. we have a lot of shit going on. You know, some of us are picking fruit, some of us are shitting ourselves, others are selling houses. You know, it's tough.
Oh my gosh. It does bring me to just a main question, because I'm curious what y'all's, you know, Nikki and Ty, and also Global Besties, what your experiences with adult friendships are, because Patrick and I, we've talked about this a lot. We found it really hard to make friends after college, after university. And I feel like after kind of the school years are over, that's what I would consider like into quote unquote adult friendships, like basically post school friends. And we have been all over the spectrum of like seasons of feeling super lonely. Like, man, we do not have any community. Like, it's so hard to make friends. We've had seasons of being like, this is amazing. It feels like we're in college again. Like, all of our friends live close and it's amazing. We've been all over the place, and like endless tears have been shed, but also like a lot of joy has been had. So I'm curious what y'all's experiences are with that.
I was just thinking as you were saying that, like, I feel like we are in very different situations in the sense that Ben and I live in our hometown where we grew up. Although we've been away, we do live here. So, and being on an island is such a small knit community. Maddie, you have moved states. I mean, Hawaii's like literally the furthest state away from mainland US anyhow. Nikki, you are a digital nomad. You are always traveling. So meeting friends and maintaining friendships can probably look different for all of us, right?
Yeah, totally.
You're going to have to remind me what the question was in that. What am I answering?
Just what has your experience been with adult friendships? Like, have you found that there was a shift in adulthood with like, man, I don't know, like it just seems harder to kind of meet people in the wild or like develop kind of new friendships. I feel like there's such an element of friends of convenience through, you know, school and college, even a little bit, where in adulthood, it's like, how do you even meet people? It's like dating, but just friends.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I have been with Ben for 10 years now. So a lot of our friends we have met through each other, which is nice because, you know, like I'll meet Ben's friends and then I'll meet their partners and now we're friends. And I think meeting people organically that way is amazing. And quite often you find people that you're really well aligned with. But other ways that you could do it, like joining clubs. I used to play volleyball. I think we all used to play volleyball at one point, right?
Holler.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, buddy.
But joining clubs like that is such a great way to find people who are interested in the same thing that you are. But also social media. Like when we started this podcast, we really wanted it to be about community. That was one word that we repeatedly said over and over again. So if you guys listening ever feel like you don't have a friend, I feel like we need to start something where the Global Besties can all converse together and become friends because, you know, we're all going through it. We all want to meet new people, right?
100%.
You said relationships in there, Maddie, and that was like all I was thinking. I was like, this is like the same thing as like dating. When like if you make it out of college and like you don't have a partner, you're like, where, how do I find? And you know, like people are like apps and this, and I think that's very true and that's very helpful. For me, I think I'm lucky in the sense that I'm a pretty extroverted person. So a lot of the times if I put myself in a situation like a co-living or a hostel or some kind of event, something where there's like crowds of people intentionally somewhere, I am going to walk out of there with a friend, like bare minimum. But I will say after leaving my last relationship, I think every single friendship that I had through that, poof, into thin air, gone. Like I had distanced myself from pretty much everyone that I had gone to school with in that relationship just because our lives didn't align anymore and there was different things that had happened, whatever. But then like you were saying, Ty, like you make a lot of friends through your relationship. Like, oh, if somebody, like if your partner meets someone, then you meet their partner and their friends or whatever. And then you have friends through it all. But after that relationship, I was like, I got no friends. Like I've got online friends. At that point, I had like kind of started to meet people from Instagram, but not a ton. So I just leaned really hard into, okay, what stranger from the internet can I meet in a random airport in Mexico? Or drive 20 hours across the country to meet in California? Like, what can I do to kind of make these friends that live a little bit more aligned with my lifestyle? And I just kind of sent it, but I say it all the time. I've been saying it a lot, but every single relationship I have in my life is long distance. All of my family, all of my friends, anybody who's close to me whatsoever, it's all long distance. Like, and even at this point, if I get into any kind of romantic thing, it's going to be long distance to some degree. So like, you gotta learn where to put the intention behind it and to make it work, to keep the relationships going. And hopefully you have friends, which I'm very grateful that I have friends that know if we haven't talked in a while, it's not because there's an issue. It's we're living life, and we're gonna be so intentional when we come back together. Like, oh my God, tell me everything, you know?
Yeah.
So
I love those friendships that you have where you might not see each other for months, years, and then you just come together and it's like you've never been apart.
Yeah. You're like, hey, oh my God, I saw you yesterday. No, I didn't. We were just getting
those
ripped
are the
apart
sweetest.
at the airport in Milan.
Oh my gosh. I'm going back through some of my Milan content for something I'm working on, and I just rewatched the video of you getting ripped out of the van away from me at the airport. That was horrible.
Oh, tragic. But then, we all showed up in Croatia. Like, that didn't happen and everything was fine.
I'm curious, have you guys, I don't know, I think this is a season of life with friendships that I found myself in probably like 3 different times, but I remember I had the sweetest friends in college, like one of my very best friends in the whole world, Megan, she actually was spending the night last night. She's on the island. So, but she traveled through Croatia with us, and like, so I'm still really close with them, but I had like such good friends in college. I mean, I met Pat in college, like just some of my favorite humans ever during that season of life. And I remember after that feeling like, we moved away, we all scattered. I mean, I was still with Pat, but I remember feeling like I'll never find friends like that again, so why even try? And it was almost like a form of self-sabotage. And it was like, but I was like, so I don't know, I just was like, man, this feels like too vulnerable. It just feels like I have to like do too much work to find friends. Like, they're never going to be like the Megans of the world, so why even try? But lo and behold, I found really sweet friends. And then I found myself years later in that same situation, like when we were living in Phoenix, and like some people had moved and world started changing, of just being like, I'm never going to find friends like that again. Like, why even try? Why even put myself out there? And it's funny because I would say, fast forwarding even a couple of years now to where we're at now, like I have the sweetest friendships and they look totally different in every season. But I don't know, have you guys ever experienced that mindset where you're like, it'll never be the same, so why even put myself out there?
I don't think I've ever gotten to the point where I'm like, why put myself out there? But I get so like nostalgic. It's like, have you guys watched Friends?
Yeah.
Like the end when they're all like saying goodbye to the apartment. It's like, to me, that's like a similar feeling as to what you're describing, Maddie, because it's like, oh my God, it's never gonna be this exact thing again. We're all never gonna be in a college dorm again, like living feet from each other, or we're all not like never gonna be in Phoenix again. Like, I've had so many moments like that where I'm like, oh my God, even like living with my friend Chas, and like I moved out and like helped her move across the country, and I was like, we're never gonna live together again. Like, I just spent a year with like one of my best friends, and this is never gonna happen again. Like, and just being like, oh
yeah,
like
it's like
craving that like community of just being like, oh, this is amazing, and you don't want it to end, but you're also so excited for like whatever the reason was for that separation, right? Because it's growth.
100%. And I think even like in different phases of life, so you might not necessarily separate from those friends like as in distance, but for example, some of my friends have children now, and we're in just completely different phases of life, and I still see them regularly and everything. But I totally agree, sometimes I'm really nostalgic about the time when we were 17 and we just learned how to drive and we're sort of going out. But I guess that is life. It's amazing to be able to have those memories to look back on, and now we're making new memories with their kids and whatnot. So I completely understand what you're saying. It is like just trying to look back fondly, but also look forward with anticipation with what's to come next, I suppose.
Yeah, and just to kind of, I don't know, I share that really, I'm curious what y'all's experiences were with that, but also Global Besties, like, I am sure that someone listening to this is like, girl, I feel that. Or maybe I'm stuck in a season currently of just feeling like, what's the point or what's the use of putting myself out there? Like, it'll never be the same. Or maybe like had your heart broken by a friend. But I just want to emphatically say that it is always worth it. You know, it's always, always worth it to try again, to make new friends, to like put yourself out there in that context, because one, we can't do life alone. It's too much to handle by ourselves. And you find the sweetest new friendships. Like the three of us literally met off of sending each other DMs and being like, want to be friends, you know, like we talked about in the first episode. Yeah, I was like, you shall be mine, and you don't know it yet, but I have that like mindset now with friends where I'm just like, it's always worth it. There's always 100%. Like the awkward, like, are we gonna be friends or not in real life? But it's always, always worth it.
Oh my gosh, you've just unlocked a memory for me. So like Ben and I went to Japan last year and we did a group trip and we had the best time ever. And there was this Aussie couple that turned up. They were a little bit late. And as soon as they started cracking out the first like swear words, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get on with these guys. And that whole trip, we spent so much time together. And they really got me thinking, like, sometimes when you think, oh, if we'd moved away from our hometown, we won't know anyone. But I was like, they literally live on the other side of the world. And they're like some of our best friends. We got on so well with them. So imagine the amount of people in this world that you would get on with. But when you said that, it just reminded me, like, we were kind of spending all this time with them. And neither of us wanted to say, like, so when are we going to see each other next? But we like really wanted to. And it was like towards the end of the trip and we were like, so did you want to go to the Philippines together maybe? And now we have another. And so we did. We met them in the Philippines and we've got another trip planned with them next year. And it's like, it just goes to show that there's so many people on this planet and there will be people who are your people. And I think meeting people in adulthood, you can really find people who you're aligned to. Because when you meet people as children, you're kind of on the playground and you're growing up, but you don't know who you are yet. So there is something really special about making adult friendships. So like Maddie said, if you are feeling in this phase where you feel a bit lost or maybe you haven't met like your people yet, they are out there, but sometimes you have to put yourself out there too.
I think that also should be something for people who have shitty friends to consider.
Agree.
Yeah. Because I can't tell you the amount of times I've gotten DMs where people have been like, my friends kind of suck. Like, and they'll tell me the things that they say, and I'm like, those people aren't your friends. And there are people out there that are going to treat you so much better, and maybe they are on the other side of the world, or that city that you've been feeling pulled to move to or to visit or whatever. Like, there are people out there that 100% are your people in every shape of the word, whether you have good friends where you are now or not. Like, they're out there.
You're so
There's
right.
8 billion people.
People talk a lot about this in the relationship standpoint, how if you're not being treated right, there's so many people out there, like you'll find someone else who treats you with respect and whatnot. But the same thing goes for friendships. If you are not feeling fulfilled or cared for or safe in a friendship, it's not by force. You do not have to be their friend. I know everybody's in different situations and whatnot, so please take this with a pinch of salt. But, you know, you will find your people.
I think, too, just some encouragement, if anyone is feeling kind of in that season of loneliness or isolation, that the more you pursue the things that you are passionate about, the more you will find your people. And again, to kind of reiterate Ty and Nikki, there are 8 billion people on this planet. You have people. You literally have people out there. But they literally may live on an island on the other side of the world. Like, they may currently be in Albania. Like, you know, I think about when we hit posts, like publish on our first Travel Mentors post, I don't know, 2.5 years ago. There are so many things that I never could have expected, but the number one thing I never could have expected was how deep and sweet the friendships would be that came out of pursuing that passion. And has it made me meet a friend that lives next door? No. In fact, what we do, this niche, the niche that we're in with travel lends itself to meeting people on the other side of the world. But I'm sitting in a new business that I just started with two of my friends on this podcast, two of my sweetest friends, because I pursued something I was passionate about. And yeah, I had to be intentional and had to be courageous at some points, like literally just sending DMs and being like, be my friend. But I just want to encourage you with that. Like, lean into the things you're passionate about, because it literally will bring you into the right community. And that community may be scattered all over the world, but that's one of the coolest things about being in 2025 is we have more connectivity than ever if you're willing to be intentional and courageous with it.
And that doesn't have to be social media. Like, your community could be in your neighborhood. If you love chess, maybe just put yourself out there and go to a chess club, and you might meet people who are fully aligned with you, but you just had never crossed paths before.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just going to say, is we're speaking from the example of our lives and like using social media. I can't tell you how many yoga classes I've been to or other weird little like niche things where you just show up and you're like, oh, hey, that person's actually really cool. I never would have stumbled across their Instagram and became friends with them. So it's like, pick the things that you're excited about or interested in. Like if you're like, you know what, I think I might be interested in acro yoga. Go take a class. Just go take one and then take another one and then take another one. Like, there's so many ways to make it work, and it doesn't have to be like through the internet. It doesn't have to be this specific way, but following your passion 100% is how you're going to find your people.
What do you guys look for in friendships?
It's funny, I don't think I look for anything in particular. I think I just try to get to know somebody, and when you just like click and you can talk for hours and time just slips away. I think I never go into a friendship or meeting somebody with like, right, we need to meet these criteria. But generally the people who I do gravitate towards are always so generous, ambitious as well, and just like genuinely kind-hearted people who have good intentions. And I mean, you obviously only find that out when you get to know somebody, but also humor. Like, make me laugh and I'm all yours, guys.
Yeah, I think initially it's like a vibe thing. Like, I don't know what it is, but my vibe meter with people, very, very spot on. And if I can get into a conversation with somebody and I'm just like, not that I think, like, it's so hard to explain the vibe thing, because it's like, I get along with pretty much anyone. I can talk to pretty much anyone, but there's like tiers of vibe, where I'm like, oh, like when I met Maddie and Patrick and Ben and Ty, it was like, oh, hi, we're here. Like the vibe is high. These are my people. And it's like, I'll meet other people and be like, the vibe's good, but we're not going to be like, I can just tell. I literally don't know how, but at the end of the day, it comes down to like, after I get to know a person, it's, are you striving to be a better version of yourself every day? Are you kind to people? Are you like passionate about things in life? Like, or are you just coasting? But like, are you happy coasting? Like, and also just very real, like real in the sense of like, okay, my life sucks today and it might suck tomorrow.
Just that authenticity piece.
But I'm going to figure it out. Yeah. Like, it's just the realness of it, I guess. I look for people to be real and don't put on a show. Don't put on a show with me.
Maddie, that was a tricky question, so I'm curious to know what your answer to that is. Like, what do you look for in a friendship?
Yeah. No, Ty, I like the way that you were talking about it, because when you said you don't really look for something, I was like, yeah, I guess I don't really look for something either, but I guess maybe a better way in my head to rephrase it is like, maybe you don't initially look for something, but like where do you find, basically like what qualities do you find yourself investing in? And I think for me, I don't really necessarily look for anything right off the bat, but where I find the relationships where I find myself investing in them and like really wanting to invest in them is where there's reciprocity. And that probably sounds like very, I don't know, that might sound like, oh, Maddie's only like friends with people who put in effort. But to be fair, I think it's okay to have boundaries. And I think it's okay to have standards of like, I want people in my life who want to be there. And so I think reciprocity, really just intentionality is a thing. And I think I'm sensitive to that because I moved out of my home state when I was 18. I've never lived in Texas since, and a lot of my really close friends are still in Texas. And so it's been this interesting dynamic of I I'm the one who left. And this isn't just Texas friends at all, because I love them dearly. But this goes to like other stages of life too. But I've always been the one to get on the plane to go see someone else. And there's just something about finally meeting friends who will get on a plane for you. And that can be a metaphor too. That doesn't mean like literally have to mean get on a plane. It could be like you buy
Somebody
someone
who calls
a
you.
$3
Somebody calls
Starbucks, you know.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
somebody
someone calls you back.
instead of you always calling them.
So I think, you know, in my 30s, I found myself really like those are the relationships I'm most drawn to are the ones where there's just intentionality back. I say this as I literally haven't like texted one of my sweetest friends back in multiple days, but I'm coming, Hannah. But I think there's just something so rare and so precious about the friends who will get on a plane for you. And again, that's a metaphor for, you know, they can also call you, like they can also text you, whatever. And I'm not saying I'm great at that. There are times where I'm like, oh my gosh, like my friend called me like 6 days ago and I literally haven't responded. But I don't know. Those are just like really, I think, I don't know. It's interesting going from your 20s to your 30s. I was so scared to turn 30. And like I literally, Pat's a few months older than me. And when he turned 30, I was like, Pat, what's it like? And he was like, what do you mean, what's it like? It's just like I was 29, except I'm just 30. Like, there's no difference. And when my 30th birthday rolled around, I was like crying the night before, like, I don't think I'm going to be good at my 30s. And Pat was like, I don't even know what that means, but I'm pretty sure you're going to be great at it. But it's funny because now I'm in love with my 30s. I love it. I think your 30s are so sweet because it's like the freedom of your 20s, but with more resources and not just like finances, but more emotional resources, like more life experience, more boundaries, more decision-making skills. And I think with that for me has come just a little bit more freedom and like, I know what I want or like in the people who I invest in and the people that I surround myself with. And I love where I'm at with that. Like I love the people in my life. Like they're so precious to me. And like I feel loved by them. I don't know if that's selfish, but I feel really loved by my friends. And that's not always something that I've had. And so it's just really, really precious now.
Time is precious too. So like I think as you get older you realize that, you know, like we're not here forever. We don't have a limited amount of, like, we don't have an unlimited amount of time, sorry. So, like, intentionally choosing people who you align with and who you get on well with and who you want to really nourish those relationships to spend your time with. Like, I feel like as you get older, you think about that a little bit more. Whereas when you're at school, per se, like, I mean, I never thought about, you know, turning 30 when I was 14. I was just running around with whoever was around, like my friends. I mean, I'm still friends with them now. I've got great friends. But yeah, I think like making adult friends as you get older, you just don't waste your time on people who you're not well aligned with.
Yeah, I think it's like, I think you guys are hitting a lot of things like very on the head in like the best way. Because even like you were saying, Maddie, like the resources and that whole little bit that you just said, it was like, in my head, it was like, oh yeah, in your 30s, it's like people always say like, oh, it's better because you have money. I have less money now than I did in my early mid 20s, but I am far happier than I was at that point in my life. But I haven't been able to like boil it down. But I think you saying like the resources that I have in the sense that like, I made a lot of mistakes in my 20s and I learned a lot of lessons and I was just like, why can't I get to a point where life stops teaching me lessons? And then I like realized like, oh, life is never going to stop doing that to me. I might as well just get comfortable in learning a lesson 5 times a week and like being comfortable in that. And then in that in itself right there, it just opened up a new layer of resources for me to be able to turn 30 and move on with life and be like, okay, cool. But then also, like Ty is saying, recognizing I'm not invincible. Like, I think that was a huge thing. Like, towards the end of my 20s where I started going, oh my God, I am literally going to die one day. Like, having that existential crisis, and then also the like accepting that life is chaotic and I'm always going to be having to mold and move in different ways. Why spend my time around people who aren't making that easier or being supportive or encouraging, or who are easier to support and encourage? Not that it should always be an easy one-way street, but like when you can tell that there's, or an easy two-way street, but when you can tell that that is there some days, it makes those hard days where you're like, oh my God, I haven't talked to my friend, and like, are they going to freak out? You don't even go to that, like, are they going to freak out because we haven't talked in 2 weeks? You go, oh shit, we haven't talked in 2 weeks. How's life? Tell me, how's it going? Like, and it's not a panic. Like, I had a friend in my 20s that told me she didn't want to be friends with me because I didn't check in with her. And I was like, do you know me? If you knew me, you would know that I'm not going to call you every day. Like, you know, there's just so many things to navigate, but I think you guys really nailed that.
Yeah, there are definitely things to navigate. Like, I remember when I was in my 20s, I reckon I was in my early 20s and I had a bit of a mentee bee because I was like, I will never be anybody's maid of honor. Like, I don't have that one best friend. This is so real. Like, I don't have a sister, and I don't have that one best friend that I know that we would be each other's maid of honor. Like, this is... Anyway, and like now, looking back, I'm like, God, that does not matter at all. Like, I feel like I have a really lovely group of people who I just feel so comforted around. But also, I have friends who don't know each other. Like, I have friends in all different areas of my life who I love equally, and I've met them at different stages of my life too. I think sometimes you have friends for different seasons or different reasons, and that's okay as well.
Oh, 100%. Some of my closest friends still in Texas, I've known since I was 5. And they're so precious in their own way. There's a song, there's an artist I love. His name is Ben Rector. He's a singer, and he has a song from an old album called Old Friends. And the line in it is, you can't make old friends. And it's like him being nostalgic about, I still remember Johnny's phone number. I still remember the bicycle route to, Timmy's house. Those aren't the lyrics, but basically like that. And he's like, you can't make old friends. Like, you can't sit on a back porch when you're 6 and like, play with Tonka trucks, on this. And like, you can't do that anymore. And it's interesting because I remember the first time I heard that, I was living away again, like thousands of miles away from a lot of my friends. And I remember crying the first time I ever heard that song because I was like, oh, like my friends from, elementary school, middle school, high school are so precious to me. And also sometimes I feel like there's this just like, I don't know, in the back of your head, you're always like, would we be friends if we met today? And it's like, I don't know how relevant that question is because we are friends, so it's not going to change anything. But I think both can be true. I think you can have like precious friendships in one regard and it's still like not necessarily be what you would look for nowadays, but like they're still precious because of that shared history. And, I'm always going to love those girls. Like, I would die for them.
Yeah. I think like the friends that you make in school, providing you are still friends with them, obviously not everybody is, people move on and whatnot. But like, I feel like the friends that I made in school, they're like siblings. They're like sisters to me. Like, I would do anything for them. And people that you become friends with in adulthood. It's funny, if what you said about like, would I be friends with them if we met now? I don't know. Maybe our paths wouldn't have crossed. I'm not sure. But because we do have all of these shared experiences growing up in such formative years of our lives, like they will always remain friends, but it's just different to the friends that you make as adults.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's so interesting that you guys like talk about friends being like siblings. I think I'm somebody who like, I love my friends so hard. Like, and it's bitten me in the ass like a few times, but there are like very few circumstances where I think like I would have the hardest like, you know, it was like if you put people on different I can't even articulate what I'm trying to say. Basically, my chosen family of friends is like just as important to me as like my family. Like if you're in my life, like you're important to me. Like I care about you. I love you. Like I want you there. Like obviously the relationship is different. Like I'm not going to scream at my friends the same way that I scream at my sister, but I've known my sister since the day she was born, and like she gets on my fucking nerves, I'm going to scream at her. But like I also will do unspeakable things to somebody if they try to hurt her. Like, but I'm also the same way if somebody treats my friends that way, you know? Like it's so interesting how you can know somebody your entire life. Siblings or friendships, but then the creep in the background.
That was Keely.
It's like, did you see that time?
No, I missed
Oh
it.
my gosh, that's sick. Megan just slid on her belly below the camera. She just pulled
Oh my
herself
God.
down
I'm going to have to watch
hallway.
this back.
Oh my God, that was so funny.
Oh, it's so funny.
I don't even know what I was trying to say there. I don't know where I went, but that was so funny.
Speaking of friends.
Speaking of friends,
Yeah.
the ones that will crawl on the back of your video for you, those
Yeah.
are keepers.
Nikki, you were talking about just the dynamics with friendships and families. So this is really interesting. Patrick and I, we learned this early on in marriage after this caused some difficulties, but something we learned is that we have really different definitions of the word family, which is like, this could literally be a whole podcast, but we were like having just some friction around different topics. And I finally was just like, I think that you and I define family different. And so we actually like wrote out our definitions, which sounds like so cheesy, but it actually was really helpful to have like shared language, because his definition was like family is blood. And like in-laws, like people, you know, like that maybe, but family's blood. And for me, I was like, oh, family is who you do your life with. And oftentimes for me, that is not actually my blood. And it was kind of like causing friction. And it was like, once we learned that, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense for a lot of conversations that we've been having. But I think that's so true. I think your definition of kind of family and friends is so interesting. And maybe, you know, maybe global besties, you guys are listening and you're like, oh yeah, I'm like Pat, like my definition of family is like blood, and then there's friends. Or maybe you're kind of more like me, where it's like, oh no, like my family is just the people that I choose to do life with and like who love me and I love them and we do all that. So it's interesting because I've always felt like the closest people in my life were always friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel, I mean, like, I think that's exactly what I was trying to say, is like, I thankfully have really good relationship with my mom. Like, my mom and I are really close. My siblings and I, we're close. Like, they are my family. But I also have friends that I am, like, just as close with, if not closer. And, like, they're people that I'm like, if I'm having a Thanksgiving, Christmas dinner, and then we can all have it together, I want them there. But then there are people who are like, absolutely not. Like, holidays are only for family. And it's like, well, they are.
Yeah, that's
My
so
friends are my
interesting.
family, you know?
Yeah.
I think I would have originally said what Pat said, to be honest. But in saying that, like, I have a brother. I love him dearly. But we are polar opposite people. If we were not siblings, we wouldn't be friends. And it's not that we don't get on, but we just don't have the same interests. It's
My
just a
sister and
fact.
I are the exact
Yeah.
same. My mom's always like, you guys are night and day.
Yeah, and it doesn't make me love him any less. He's my brother. Like, we've grown up together. We've experienced all these different things together. But, like, yeah, we're not on the same wavelength at all. And then there's my mum, who she is my best friend and she is family. So it's really interesting to kind of see where people draw the line between family and friends. I hope also one day you guys can feel like this community is like a small family or a big family one day, who knows? World domination's happening, people. But if you do feel like you don't have the support from friends or from family, like, please, you feel free to message us or contact other people who listen to the podcast. Like I said, we need to set up some sort of like community. But yeah, like you'll find your people and hopefully it'll be through this pod.
Oh my gosh, that'd be the pride and joy of my life of having this podcast, is if someone DM'd us and was like, I met a friend through this podcast who also listens. I would be like, our mission in life is done. We have created friendships.
And then if they were like, oh, and we decided to like fly to meet each other.
Yes.
Kill me dead. I'd be overdone, melted.
That would be an absolute dream.
What a dream.
What a dream. I feel like that's a good place to kind of wrap this up and turn this over to our listeners. You guys, by this point, 9 episodes in our show notes, all over socials, you guys know how to contact us. So you can shoot us an email, shoot us a DM, but we want to hear from you guys. We're curious, what stands out to you from this? Are you like, oh, I feel like Nikki on this, or actually something like Ty said really resonated with me, or vice versa. We want to hear from you guys. Like we said, when we were brainstorming early on in the process, we knew we didn't want to just start a podcast, but early on in the process, we kind of had this conversation of like, okay, we are 3 totally different humans. Like, we need to just kind of make sure we're on the same page as like what our vision is for this. And so I can't remember if we picked like 3 words each or 1 word each, but we kind of each picked like a word or 2 or 3, I can't remember, that we wanted like this podcast to embody. And we all chose community, which was like so cool to be like, okay, like we are all on the same page that we want the 1,000 Miles Pod Global Bestie community just to really feel like that, to feel like this family where you're coming in, you're like, oh, like I had coffee with Nikki, Tyler, and Maddie, or like I put on my makeup while I was talking with my friends, even though I wasn't talking, you know, that's what we want. And we want to hear from you guys. So drop us a DM, shoot us an email, let us know what's going on. Let us know if you have any crazy friend stories or anything.
Yeah. And make sure you guys rate, review, and subscribe on whatever listening platform or watching platform you're on, pretty much just YouTube. And send this to someone who you want to be your global bestie and to join the community.
And we will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for being here. And remember that you belong here. You guys, I loved that episode. That was so fun.
Oh, I loved that episode so much. I loved it so much.